Okay, grade 9, so we're on the second video for week 5, day 2. We're going to continue with expanding and collecting like terms. So for A, we've got x squared minus x plus 3 plus 4x squared minus 3x plus 1. And I kind of intentionally did a bunch where there was no number out front because I want you guys to get used to that. If there's no number out front, remember it's always a 1. So there's no number out front of either bracket. We're going to multiply this 1 by each term in the bracket. Multiplying by 1 is one of the easiest things we can do because it doesn't change anything. So 1 times x squared is x squared. Remember, anything times 1 just stays the same. It's itself. 1 times negative x is negative x, and 1 times 3 is plus 3. Same idea for the next bracket. I have a 1 out front, even if nothing's there. And I'm going to multiply it through to everything in the bracket. So 1 times 4x squared plus 4x squared. 1 times negative 3x is minus 3x. And 1 times 1 is 1. So they just all stayed the same. Now we're going to gather up our like terms. Just like the last video, first we'll look for all of the x squared terms. So I have an x squared first, and then I have a plus 4x squared. Notice I'm circling the sign in with it. This first term does not have a number in front. Whenever there's no number, we put a 1. So for my x squareds here, I have 1x squared plus 4x squared. That's 5x squareds. I'll kind of highlight that in green to show where that came from. My next kind of like terms, I have x's. I see a minus x, and again, if there's no number, you put a 1, so it's negative 1x. And then negative 3x. Negative 1x minus 3x is negative 4x. So that came from the ones I'd circled in pink. And the last kind of like terms are my just plain numbers. I've got a plus 3 and a plus 1. So 3 and 1, both positive, give me plus 4. So my final answer here is 5x squared minus 4x plus 4. For B, same idea, but I'm going to multiply in here by 2 into the first bracket and then by 5 into the next bracket. So multiplying everything in this bracket by 2. 2 times 1x squared. Positive and positive is positive 2, and the x squared stays the same. 2 times negative 3x. Positive and negative is negative. 2 times 3 is 6, and it has an x. The last one, 2 times 2, both are positive, so the answer is positive 4. Now we're going to multiply in with this plus 5. Multiply it into every term in here. Notice we've got a minus x, so I'm going to make that a minus 1. So 5 times 3x squared is positive. 5 times 3 is 15. Keep your x squareds. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5x. And 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Same thing now with the like terms. I'm going to look for all of my x squared terms first. I have 2x squareds there, plus 15x squareds. Remember, the sign to the left is the one that goes with that. So 2x squareds plus 15x squared is 17x squareds. I can underline that in the same color to show where it came from. Now I have some x terms. I've got negative 6x minus 5x. So negative 6, take away 5 more. Careful with these negative signs. Use your calculator if you need to. Probably a safe bet. Is negative 11x. And the last ones, plus 4 and then minus 20. So if we have 4 take away 20, that's going to go into the negatives and be minus 16. And that's the one that came from the blue ones. 2 more questions here. Same idea with this next one. We've got a 4 multiplying into everything here. I've got 1x squared minus 1x. Remember, you can always put those ones in front. So multiplying 4 times 1x squared, 4 times negative 1x, and 4 times 2. So 4 times 1x squared is 4x squared. 4 times negative 1x is negative 4x. And 4 times positive 2 is positive 8. So double check whatever you got for that one. Then I'm going to multiply negative 7 into this bracket. Remember that the 7 is negative, so it's going to multiply each of those by a negative value. Negative 7 times 2x squared is negative 14x squared. Then I've got negative 7 times negative 3x. Negative and negative will make it positive 21x. And the last one, negative 7 times negative 2 is positive 14. We're going to look at all of my like terms here. We have 4x squared minus 14x squared. So 4x squared, take away 14x squared. That gives me negative 10x squared. Then I'm going to look at my x's. I have negative 4x plus 21x. So negative 4 plus 21 gives me 17x. And then we've got, change my color, we've got plus 8 and plus 14. If we have positive 8, positive 14, we end up with plus 22. So again, hopefully you guys are trying these and checking your answers. The last one, just again, another reminder. I have had a lot of people asking me about this 1 out front. If you don't have a number out front, it is a 1. So I'm going to multiply the 1 into this bracket. 1 times 3x is 3x. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. And then 5 times 2x and 5 times minus 1. So plus 10x and 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Here we don't have any x squareds. So we don't have any terms where there's an x squared. We've just got our x's and our numbers. So I have 3x plus 10x equals 13x. And then the number parts, I have minus 2 and minus 5. So negative 2 minus 5 more is minus 7. So you may get some, these can be mixed up, where some you have x squareds and some you don't. But you'll just have more steps to do if you have more different kinds of like terms.